Wellness for Life is brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, Mahabi Atwa Community Action Partnership, Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic, and Thomason, Swanson, and Zahn Attorneys at Law.
Hello, I'm Matthew Koffenberg, physical therapist and owner of Back in Motion Physical Therapy in Perham, Minnesota. Let me ask you a question. Do any of you ever avoid certain movements or certain head positions because you're afraid that you might get really, really dizzy? If you do, then this episode is a great episode for you to watch, because a lot of times when people avoid positions because they're afraid they're going to get dizzy, it's often due to a condition that we call benign, paroxysmal, positional vertigo. That's a big word, but let me break that down and I'll tell you what that's all about. It's actually a very non-harmful condition that is easily treated in physical therapy. So again, if you're somebody who avoids bending down or looking up because the world might start spinning, really should talk to your doctor. Now, one thing I do want to mention, there are many, many, many reasons why people get dizzy. If you are getting dizzy, it's really important that you speak with your medical provider. A lot of times, again, it's going to be this simple, benign, paroxysmal positional vertigo. They'll send you to therapy and we'll take care of it quite quickly. So what is benign paroxysmal positional vertigo? We call it BPPV for short. So the first term is benign. That just means not harmful. Paroxysmal, that means the condition comes on very suddenly. Positional, that just means it's based on your position. And vertigo, the sensation of spinning or dizziness. So you put it all together, it's a non-harmful, very suddenly coming on condition that is based on movement or the position that you're in that creates spinning. So how does a patient present to me with this condition? A lot of times they'll come to me and say, man, I do not like rolling over in bed, it makes me dizzy. A lot of times they'll tell me, I don't like bending over to tie my shoes, it makes me dizzy. I don't like looking up to do any painting because it makes me dizzy. Or at night when I lie down to go to sleep, my world starts spinning. Those are very common complaints that I hear. And the other thing that I often hear is that the symptoms only last about 30 to 60 seconds. As long as you stop moving, those symptoms often will just kind of go away. I'm here to tell you, though, that we can treat this very, very quickly. We really don't know the causes of this. Most of the time it's very spontaneous. It just occurs. Sometimes it's more common if you've had head trauma. Sometimes it can happen if you've had a recent ear infection. But really, most of these cases are very, very spontaneous in nature. The reason it occurs is because of an inner ear issue. So this has everything to do with what's going on in your inner ear. So in the inner ear, if we take a look at this, now this is something that you can't see with the naked eye, this is microscopic, but the inner ear has a system of membranes. We actually have what are called semicircular canals. We have 3 of them, and inside the semicircular canals of the ear, we have fluid, and we have hair cells. So that's what this is depicting. So this, just imagine this is on the inside of your inner ear, and these little blue lines that are going straight up, those are hair cells. These are microscopic. We have millions of these within our inner ear. On top of each of those hair cells, this red is depicting what's called, it's just a little crystal. It's a calcium crystal. Every single hair cell has a calcium crystal on top of it. And those crystals are then bathing in a fluid. So those wiggly lines are representing the fluid. Now that fluid is very, very thick, so it doesn't move real fast. So when we move, so when we turn our head, that fluid moves. When the fluid moves, it actually grabs a hold of that crystal and it causes the hair cell to bend. When the hair cell bends, it tells our brain what direction we're moving. So in BPPV, what happens is one of those crystals will break off. So here I've depicted 2 hair cells that don't have a crystal. And those crystals will either embed themselves in between the hair cells or they'll get stuck up in that fluid. in either case, it's going to throw your whole system off. So when it's embedded, what will happen is fluid will move one direction. All of the hair cells are supposed to move in that same direction, but one of the hair cells will bang into that crystal, and it causes all the others to go in the opposite direction. If the crystal is up in the fluid is shifting in one direction, but then the fluid bangs into the crystal, and that fluid then starts to move in the opposite direction, and it causes the hair cells to bend in opposite directions. When hair cells are moving one way and the other way, you're getting mixed signals from your brain, and your body perceives it as dizziness. Very easy to treat in the clinic with one simple maneuver. If you have any dizziness, don't hesitate to give me a call. 346-2464.
Thank you for watching Wellness for Life. Brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, Mahabi Atwa Community Action Partnership, Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic, and Thomason, Swanson & Zahn Attorneys at Law.